Hi everybody, this is Agnes from Sediment, and today let's discuss and discover the famous 1855 Bordeaux Classification, its history, evolution and controversies. Before we start, I would like to announce that I will be introducing a new Bordeaux-related series on the Sediment channel. So stick around until the end of this video to find out more, and I will also want to know your suggestions. Originally, the 1855 Bordeaux Classification was called, pardon my French, Classement des Grands Crus de la Gironde. The classification was done on the reds and the sweets, but this video will focus only on the red wines. It selected wines from the Medoc with one exception from Graves, haut-brion, and categorized them into 5 quality tiers. That's right, unlike Burgundy, which praises the terroir, the 1855 classification ranks the estates. And despite some criticism, it still remains highly respected standard in the wine world. Consumers and Bordeaux enthusiasts trust it greatly and will base their purchases on it. It also plays an important role in the wine investment decisions. And no one wants to be criticized for not belonging at the top, so the classed estates do their best to deliver the highest quality every year, even though there is no risk of losing their classified growth estate status in the near future. This classification was created when France departments were invited to participate in 1855 Universal Exposition in Paris. The aim of this exposition was to highlight each nation's best and highest quality products from different industries, including culture and agriculture. According to few writers, including Rod Phillips, wine initially was not discussed for the Gironde department. It only became a topic when Burgundy and Champagne invited to create joint display for quality wines. When it was decided to highlight the wines of the region, the Union of Brokers was tasked to create a complete list of the region's best wines. Jane Anson writes in her book Inside Bordeaux that the classification was based purely on the prices of the wines and their trade history. So no tastings and estate visits were conducted. However, she also points out that these people worked with these estates for the longest time and knew the wines very well. While we have been talking a lot about the 1855 classification, it's important to note that many other classifications or quality tiers were created or at least commented on long before. These were established by various wine authorities and writers, as well as industry professionals such as brokers and merchants. And the ranking was always closely linked with the price of each chateau, and therefore these classifications evolved as tools for the commercial use. So it's important to note that the 1855 classification was not created based on the quality of a single year, but rather on consistency over many years, and nowadays is almost set in stone and a generally accepted standard in the wine industry. I will not bore you by naming all the wines here. There are many printed books, lists, and online resources available to find the original classification and the version after a few changes. I know some people who have even memorized it, but it's not me. The original number of chateaux classed in 1855 was 58. Nowadays, the number is up to 61 due to estate divisions. For example, the 5th growth in 1855 Batailly now is divided into Chateau Batailly and Chateau Haut Batailly, and there is similar story with Léoville. Currently, there are 5 first growth chateaux, 14 second growth chateaux, and 14 third growths. There are 10 fourth growth chateaux, and finally 18 fifth growth estates. Every wine enthusiast might know the original and updated first growth chateaux: Chateau Lafite, Margaux, Latour, haut-brion, and with Chateau Mouton Rothschild added in 1973. Many will quote the famous Chateau Mouton Rothschild promotion to the first growth as the only change ever made to the 1855 classification, However, that's not true. Indeed, the famous Mouton Rothschild received its status only in 1973, despite having similarly high prices to the other first growth estates. The very first change made already in 1855 was Chateau Contemerle, which was not included in the original classification at all. It was added as the fifth growth after the Union of Brokers received a letter from the owner who proved that indeed her wine belonged on the list. So officially, the 1855 classification was set on 18th of April, but the very first change was already made on the 19th of September. For more than 100 years, no changes were made until the 1973, when the previously mentioned Chateau Mouton Rothschild was promoted to first growth. Unlike the Burgundy, where it is really the land or terroir that is responsible for the best wines, in Bordeaux, classed estates can easily buy or sell vineyard land, acquire different estates, and really expand their holdings without losing their status in the 1855 classification, nor the prestige in the eyes of consumers. Acquiring new plots also allows the estates to increase the production of their flagship wine, the Grand Vin. Furthermore, some Bordeaux wine experts argue that certain wines do not live up to the standards of their expected quality levels, while others constantly outperform and due to that are often called the super seconds. There have been individuals and wine professionals advocating for the revision of the classification altogether, while others invite to revise it periodically. However, this naturally is not always well received by the estates at the top. We can follow the drama closely on the other side of Bordeaux in Saint-Emilion, where the classification is revised every 10 years. Their estates have both been promoted and demoted, which is not always met with the greatest excitement. It often leads to disputes and insults and at the end to litigation.
I will see you in court!
Interestingly, that is often the market that sets things straight. The greater the wine, the more we want to enjoy it, seek it, and are willing to pay for it. And funny enough, despite Pomerol having no legal classification, we know very well the most sought-after wines from this appellation. But guys, the reason for this video is to introduce a new series on the No Sediment channel. I want to taste the Grand Vin of each class chateau on camera. And instead of talking about the famous 1855 classification in every video, I decided to make a separate one, this one. So now the task falls to you. Comment below which one of the classed estates I should taste first. And if you want to find out more about the Bordeaux region in general, make sure to click here.